Greetings, y'all. It's Matt from the Green Arcade. I'm back playing some more Farming Simulator 25. The harvest is in full swing, okay? We are cutting the beans. We've got lots of beans. They're multiplying, doing all that fun stuff. Oh god, there's a save. the save. The saves are still real. They're not as bad as they used to be, but they're still, when you get them, they kind of stutter. Alright, let me run over here and grab this thing. Ooh. Now that is one big pile of straw. Jurassic Park reference. You will remember to wash your hands before you eat anything. Alright, so, lots going on. Lots going on. The harvest is in, again, full swing. Good morning, Crazy. Good morning, Twitchy. Good morning, Jeff. Alright, so I'm currently got one contract going. Actually, I probably need to pay back some more on that loan since I've done a bajillion contracts. I do have one contract going. It's a hoeing mission, removing weeds out of field 73. Is that a 3? Looks like a 3. Yep, 73. It is in barley, so we're kind of interested in that one. Not a whole lot like freshly like planted. There's clover up there, and there's barley right there. And then I can't remember what this was. What was this? Oh, alfalfa. Okay. So yeah, not a lot of like, you know, freshly planted like winter crops. So got our eyes on that one. That's probably going to be one we buy. It's not a bad price for the size of the field, I'll be honest. It's under $1 million. It's like 900,000 something, so 912. Not too shabby. Watching these fields here, this one is it's probably going to be spring before they plant anything there, but I've kind of got a plan going on with the fields. So this is going to be the we're going to set up like a pattern. You know how airports have like patterns where they fly around like in a certain pattern, like they'll fly a left what's it called? Left, not left base. Base is like the position in the pattern. Left flight pattern, right flight pattern. I think that's what it's called. So basically, we're gonna start up here. So anytime we harvest, we're gonna start up here in the northwest. I mean, it just kind of makes sense because this is where we're gonna buy the first plains area. We're gonna start up here in the northwest, and you see, there's kind of an imaginary line right here. See that line right there? That kind of separates, that's the highway that really kind of separates everything. I mean, it curves down through the town and it kind of bypasses a little bit, but that highway goes straight and then it interrupts there and then it starts back up again right there, and the highway goes all the way down to the blue farm, right? Oh, actually, it goes past the blue farm. So we're going to start harvesting every time up here and just work our way across. Just go all the way across this way. Then we'll come down. We'll start harvesting here, and then we'll start harvesting back this way, right? Okay, so we come back this way. Then we come down below this highway. So there's a highway right in there. We're going to come down and harvest all of this stuff and kind of go this way. Now, this is where it stops. So you go over here all the way to the iron grain sell point, and then we'll harvest all that. And then this is where it kind of skips across. We have to ignore the forest here because we haven't really gotten into that yet. We'll go over to the big field, get these fields done, and then kind of swing down this way and come this direction. And then I think from here it kind of gets fuzzy. So we can go down through here, get all of these fields maybe, and then come back, and everything north of the river, we'll get everything north of the river here. So here's the river right in there. and then we'll save all of this stuff for last. We don't own anything down here yet, so it just makes sense to me, for fuel consumption, for everything, to kind of do that pattern here in Judith Plains. So that's kind of the plan, kind of the direction we're going. Good morning, Fuzzy. How's it going? Have you decided if you're gonna do a playthrough on Arkansas? I am kind of waiting. I was gonna ask everybody how they felt about it. I was gonna see how I kind of put it out there. I did a first look at it. So if I don't do anything with it, we at least have that first look out there. But if I do something with it, we'll start a new episode, and maybe, I don't know, maybe we could stream it, or we could do it like a YouTube exclusive, or, I don't know. What does everybody think? And did everybody see the YouTube video? Did a first look at the Arkansas 4X that is in the in-game PC mod hub. Put that out yesterday morning. So, what do you guys think? Should I do the Arkansas map? Would you guys like to see the Arkansas map? Let me know. It really doesn't feel like a 4X, does it? I was gonna say, the way you can tell that a map is a 4X, I mean, I think Judith Plains definitely feels bigger, but Judith Plains, it depends on how the map is set up. The Arkansas 4X map is really more flat. This map, it's got a lot of flat, but it's got like the river, the creeks, the little hills here that kind of separate it. So it makes it feel a little bit bigger. But one way you can tell, and you used to be able to do this, if you go down to the far southeast corner, so we're just going to visit this field right now, and you pull this up, we'll just use that right there. I'm going to run down here. Go as far to the corner. I don't think you can go all the way through the corner, but we'll go down to the far corner of this field here. As far as we can go. All the way almost to the border. We'll hit the border here somewhere. Can't really see it. Oh boy, there's so many bushes. Yeah, so when we stop moving, I think we're there. And get down further into the corner here. You can't really, you can kind of see it. Okay, so here's like a 90-degree angle. I'm going to say that's the corner. That's as far as we can go. So, now, look down at the map down there in the bottom left. You see how the number is 4,000 by 4,000-ish? That's how you know this is a 4X map. When you go on another map like Riverbend Springs or one of the in-game maps that is not a 4X map, that's a standard size map, you should get 2,000, 2,000 something-ish. So that's how you know, that's how you can kind of tell the size of the maps. So this is definitely a 4X map here in Judith Plains. I'll have to, if I go back to Arkansas, which it's up to you guys, what do you think? Go back to Arkansas, I can go down to the corner on that one and see. And that's how you know. That's if you know you know. Then you know you'll know. That's how you'll know. And now you'll know the rest of the story. Alright. Let's go back to the tractor, make sure I turned it off. Did not. So let's turn that off there. I've got a lot of soybean straw that I'm gonna have to pick up. But that's money on the ground. That's a lot of money on the ground. We'll wait for the right time of the year. Usually it's late December, January. So, but right now I've got to go pick up a lot of stuff for the harbor store silos. It's your vehicle. Got a full truckload of beans over there. That's another 240. So we've got, let's see how many beans we got so far. Go to beans. Beans. So far I've got 720,000 in the silo, and I'm storing it all up here at the red farm for now. So 720 plus another 240. We're not to where we were. We had 1.2 million the last time, and we're definitely gonna have more than we had, because I haven't done the big field yet, and we've still got a ton to do up here. So it's going good today. How's it going, Adam? So yeah, you guys, what do you think about the Arkansas 4X map? It is one of the rare 4X maps that's actually in the Giants in-game mod hub for Farming Simulator. But you can download it from the in-game PC mod hub. Alfalfa. Get all this picked up, and we'll get our fertilizer going over here. Get it ready to go for next year. You saw the Arkansas video. Wasn't very impressed. Yeah, it's kind of compared, especially compared to Judith Plains. It's a very standardish map. It's a very basic map. The layout is very basic. But you know, I think I went and looked. In Arkansas, apparently, you know, when you start with the homestead there, you get a lot of the long grain rice fields. Apparently, that's a big crop there. I think I Googled it and I searched it, and there's several states that do the long grain rice in the Deep South. But apparently, Arkansas is the biggest producer, exporter, something like that, of rice. So yeah, they do. I think they do the other stuff too. They do corn, they do soybeans, they do cotton, they do what else? I'm sure they probably do some other stuff, but rice, and they do the standard stuff too. So that might be a good rice map to do, since they're the biggest something of rice. I have to go back and look at the Google search I did, but I think they're the biggest farmers of rice. I don't know the right terminology. Producers, exporters. Oh, I'm full. We'll put this one up here in the red farm. Let's see. I see you sold your harvester. Didn't catch what you replaced it with. Hang on, I'll tab to it. Go get this dumping. Nothing was on sale. Nothing ever went. I never got a class 11-ish combine to go on sale. So I finally just said, you know what? I'm gonna trade in the one we got and just bite the bullet and get a combine. So we got the AF11. This is definitely a class 11 combine. We're gonna do 16 meter headers for all our class 11 combines across the board. This one, it's a Stevie combine, so it definitely has the capacity. You can kind of just hire it and not really forget about it, but you don't have to really worry. It's nice. So yeah, I got this one. There are others. The New Holland is pretty much the same combine. And then the X9 is kind of the same. But we do have the Stevie stuff. I like the Stevie stuff. Let's see, is there anything? Watch one of them be on sale. There's that one. The only problem with the ideal ones, and this one is a Stevie one, the only problem with the ideal combines is the pipes. If you look at the pipes, they're not very long. And I don't think you can change the pipes on these. You can take away the steering wheel and put in like the joysticks for steering. That's different. No, you can't change the pipes. Unless it's one of the things like in the settings here. Let me kind of go through it. Here, I think that's just the capacity setting right there. You could make this a class 11. You'd probably want to make it not a... You'd probably want to make it like a 10T or a 10. I guess there's not a 10T. Or just a 10. You know what? I think that's the designation. I think that's the name of it, 10T. It's not a Stevie thing. So you can do like Michelin and stuff like that. But it doesn't change. It still doesn't change the pipe. And I haven't tested these out. Just see what header they would work with. Yeah, I'd have to test this out before really investing in anything like this. There's a lizard something on sale. What does that do? Oh, that's a grape and olive harvester there. Yeah, we'll pass on that. I think we're pretty comfortable with this one. I mean, it's a case combine. It's a Stevie one. Man, does it have the what do you call them? The beacons on it? Hang on, let me back this up here and I'll show you the beacons. So it's got the beacons. You should definitely see this thing coming down the highway at night. Because it's got the beacons. It's got the standard beacons in the back. These are pretty much standard. But yeah, it's got Stevie beacons in the front, so it's real nice. But yeah, we're gonna go with the 16-meter header. This is from the MacDon header pack. That's in the in-game PC mod hub. Might even be for the consoles too. I don't know. But it does its job. Alright, let's go back to... I got stuff everywhere. Oop, there it is. Alright, so we got that field for up here. I think I want to run some of this down to the blue farm now. Yeah, trying to divvy up the alfalfa. Take some to the blue farm, take some to the red farm. And you know what? I think it's time for a little bit of my morning coffee here. Yeah, buddy. Oh, I need to pay attention where I'm driving though. One thing about some of these fields, especially this one, see how the lines are not really straight? When we own the playing the ground over here, I'm gonna straighten up this field so we can have nice straight lines. I'm gonna cut these trees right here in front of me. We're gonna combine these two fields and make it one big rectangle. Is that the right shape? Rectangle, yes. Straight edges, kind of like it's got here on this side. But we're going to do it over on this side as well. So we'll cut these trees, plow all this together. And then I think there's an animal pen kind of straight up from this direction. Let's fly up there and look. I think there's an animal pen over here. You know what? I might be thinking of the field up here. No, there's not an animal pen up here. There's an animal pen here. So we can't really expand this field in any direction that way. But this one I think we can make it work. See how it kind of curves in right there? Probably have to do a little bit of landscaping there. Oh, there's a save. Yeah, might have to do a little landscaping here. Maybe a little flattening here. A little smoothing there. But bring this field over and block it off down here. Maybe remove a couple of these trees right here. As long as it's not a tree like right on the shore of the creek, we should be able to remove it. It shouldn't be a problem. And that rock won't be in the way. Shouldn't be anyway. Might have to trim some of this off, so we might replace this with a little bit of meadow grass right in there. But we're going to straighten it out. What we take off and replace with meadow grass and paint in, you know, we will replace that because we're going to expand this one, and then we're going to gain all of this in between where these trees are. So, been looking at that, and then, you know, the first one that we're going to buy is actually right up here. We got a lot of grass and stuff on the ground. Look at this. Ain't it pretty? All the lines. We've got soybean straw, we've got grass, we've got alfalfa, all the lines. Got a lot to pick up. A lot of work to do. But I showed this off, I think, in one of the YouTube videos this week. This tree line here, there's a railroad track and pond down here. But where the end of this field is right here, you could plow across right there and merge these two fields together, get rid of this tree line. And then you could actually merge this field, and these three fields all together right here. Now, where the highways separate, we won't merge together. But, you know, you think about it, you look at it, you merge all that together, that's a decent sized field. It really is. So, then you got a highway there, so then we'll probably merge these three together. We don't own that one yet. But you could definitely merge these three together, and then you could merge these together. We don't own this one yet, the white field here, the one that's got the lime in it. We don't own that one yet, but we will very soon. Alright. Did you buy Area 128? No, that is in the plans. We're going to do that with the sale of our surplus of beans. We're going to have an even bigger surplus of beans in the next year. So I'm going to say maybe next weekend, we might be purchasing that Plainsland. And haven't heard, again, anything from DJ. Let me see, I haven't checked today, but sometimes he doesn't post until like the evening or something like that. Yeah, no, he has not posted anything either on his social or on YouTube. So, no update from him about the update. So, but I've set the date. Whether we have the update or news about the update from DJ or not, come August 2nd. So that'll be not today, but a week from today, right? Is that a week from today? I think that's a week from today. So next Saturday we will be getting the Northwest Plains area. So get ready. Buckle up, buttercups. We're going to be doing a lot of plowing and merging together of fields. It's happening. Well, I say that. We might not merge together the fields next Saturday, but we will purchase the planes that will allow us to do that in the future. So, because we can't sell the soybeans until June, and if we're going to have a crop for the year after that, we've got to plant something in those fields up there. And get ready to go. Unless we just let them follow for, a year. Just skip a whole year. I don't know. Something to think about and consider. I don't normally do that. I don't think any farmer can really afford to do that. Skip a year. Take a year-long vacation. I don't think a farmer can afford to do that. I really don't. I don't. Unless you have crop insurance, which we could have crop insurance. Would that be a weird mod to have? That'd be something to have crop insurance. They put damage in from like tornadoes and stuff. That would be something that like a mod you could have. Like, say a tornado came in and took out your crop. Well, you could have crop insurance for the amount of money that the tornado destroyed. That would be an interesting mod. But I think we'll make enough money from the sale of the soybeans. And then two, if we save our money, oh, that's hard to do. Save our money, try to build some equity. I think we're good to go, though. I think, unless we get another combine, another Class 11 combine specific to, that goes on sale that we want, we really probably won't be buying a whole lot of really big ticket items. Maybe a tractor here and there, but, most of the time those are usually pretty good deals. But I think we're kind of set. Now it's just, buying the land. Let me go. This load down in the blue farm. check to make sure I turned all this stuff back on. Let's do the alfalfa on. Looks like we need to get more clover in here. This is actually the red farm. Blue farm, yeah, all that stuff's back on. We need to bring some grass down. Guess I'll do that next. Go ahead and turn the grass back on there. The haylage. Need to bring some clover over. Good morning, Yuleberry. How's it going? I need to bring clover to the red farm just to get it going. Blue farm, everything is running. Clover to the red. Gonna put a road right here. Take this tree out. Put a road that goes right in through here. Make it easier to bring the trucks in and all the vehicles in and out. Still gotta harvest the corn once we get done with the beans. So yeah, do you guys want to see the Arkansas map? In-game map, 4X map. It has kind of a common ground, common land too, but it's not as expensive as Judith Plains is. Judith Plains is kind of divided up. Over there, I think there's one main common ground, and it's like over 6 million, I think, maybe. So it's not as expensive. They actually start you out, you know, pretty with the starting farm. It is a red farm, which, you know, if we play that map, you know, we might look into changing that. But they start you out pretty good as far as, like, you know, land. You get a huge hayfield. You've got several little rice fields around the farm there. Yeah, maybe we check that out. Should be able to get that going now. So clover. And pick up the haylage. I'll have to change my GPS settings around. Doesn't take too much, but definitely need to take grass to both places. Okay, let's go down to a grass field. Change that from 12.2 to 9.2. That should put our lines right on our, yep. Right on the windrows there. And I gotta pay attention to the silage additive here when I haul this back, because now that I'm on the grass, the clover and the alfalfa doesn't use any of the silage additive, which is kind of weird, but it is what it is, I guess. But when you pick up the grass, it does use the silage additive, so it adds that little extra bonus to it. Here, crop duster. There he goes. Kind of foggy out there this morning. Got a little bit of fog. Well, it may not be fog. It may be humidity. A lot of times you can see the humidity in the air. You know, when the sun is at the right angle, you can kind of just visually see the humidity in the air. I said if anybody comes up with a process of pulling the humidity out of the air that doesn't, you know, I know there's like dehumidifiers and stuff like that, but you know, a lot of them use electricity or, you know, or maybe like a gas powered thing or something like that. If somebody could come up with a way to pull that humidity out of the air with some type of renewable energy to do so, then they'll make a lot of money. There would be no more droughts. So much humidity in the air, there would be no more droughts. Trying to catch up on my King of the Hill as well. That is coming. What the next the revival, I guess you would say, of it, maybe where they bring it back, is coming August 4th. So that's a week from Monday. Yep, a week from Monday. I've got 1 week to catch up on all my King of the Hill episodes. I'm currently, I think I'm getting very close to season 6. And if I remember right, there's 13 seasons, so I'm halfway there. Pretty much. The Indian food story. Oh yeah. Was that you that asked about that on YouTube? Somebody asked about it on YouTube. They're like, I want to hear the Indian food story. So, it's been years, and I know that sounds like the old Rose opener for Titanic. You know, it's been 84 years. No, it has been. It's been years since this happened. But as you know, a lot of you know, I work in the medical field, and we went to the whole department pretty much went to a doctor's house where it was, you know, kind of like a thing where it was like a kind of like a dinner party. It was lunch, but it was like kind of like a dinner party. Went in, and you know, she's an Indian doctor, so we went in there and had dinner, lunch, whatever you want to call it. And it was a Indian-based menu, I guess you'd say, is what was prepared. But nobody prepared me for what was to come. Basically, it was all really good, you know. I've never really met food that, you know, that I didn't like. This was, you know, there's a lot of good stuff. Some of it was kind of spicy though. And I was like, well, you know, I like a little spicy food. You know, I like the Mexican food. You know, the authentic Mexican food. You know, I like Taco Bell. You know, but you know, Taco Bell's kind of got the same gastronomical consequences to it. So yeah, we ate, and then we toured around the property, I guess, a little bit, and it come time to go. And we had plans, you know, we were gonna go shopping afterwards, you know, and all that, and we all pile into this like oversized SUV, and we get moving down the road, and all of a sudden it hit. It was kind of like the calm before the storm, only it wasn't so calm. All of us were in distress, to say the least. Yeah, we were all sweating, and you know, I'm the only guy, so you know I'm sweating. But when the ladies start sweating, you know it's gonna be bad. So we're getting down the road, and you know, we're getting closer to this kind of outdoor shopping thing that we're going to, and we get to the parking lot, and everybody is like on the edge of their seat, literally like gritting their teeth, sweating. Um, it's really bad. It's really bad. And we find a parking spot, and it's like, have you ever seen the guys bail out of the Air Force planes that are parachuting down to the ground? That's kind of what it was like. We were bailing out of this oversized SUV, like, you know, like we were going into battle. I mean, and I don't even think the thing had fully stopped before people were opening the doors and jumping out. So that's how bad it was. We all go kind of our separate ways very quickly, and I find a store. It's a little retail shopping center. Um, Kind of like it's kind of like a clothing store, I guess. They have men's clothes, women's clothes, you know, stuff like that. And you know, I'm making a beeline, and one of the ladies comes before I go in the store. One of the ladies is like power walking down the sidewalk, and yeah, she's got like the walking farts, which I hope that's what it was. But I get in there, I get back to the bathroom, I make it. You know, there wasn't a code brown or anything like that. I make it into the store. Yeah, and I take care of business, and I come out just so relieved. I was like, man, oh, that was bad. So I come out, and there's like this little area. It's the men's section where they've got like jerseys and basketball stuff, sports stuff, all kinds, different things. And they have like a bench with a TV going with a basketball game on, and I sit down on the bench just to kind of recover. And all of a sudden, I see somebody. It had to be one of like the managers or assistant managers or something like that, go into the bathroom. I'm like, oh no. And they go in there. The door doesn't even have time to close behind them before they do a 180 and make an about face and come right back out. They come right back out. They go back through the double doors that go to the very back of the store. I guess where they have like the warehouse or whatever part of it where they store stuff. They have trucks come in and stuff like that. A few minutes later, maybe just a couple, it wasn't even that long, maybe just a minute or two later, they come back out, but behind them, following them, they have an employee pushing a cleaning cart to come into the bathroom. Now, I didn't make a mess. Let's just be clear about this. I did not make any kind of mess. It wasn't one of those situations where, what was that movie with the Ted Lasso guy where he had the girl in the bathroom and she was sitting on the edge of the tub? If you'd seen it, it wasn't that type of situation at all. But I think it was just more of the atmosphere, the reason why he had them come in there. So, and I guess maybe it was like one of those sight unseen type things, like clean the place head to toe or something like that. But yeah, they brought them in there. I'm like, oh no. And I was so worried. I was like, they're going to go back and look at the security cameras, and they're going to see me going in there, and they're going to know, and I'm going to be like, oh, they're going to ban me for life from this store, which really wouldn't have mattered. I didn't really care about it, but, it is more of like the, type thing where I don't really want to get banned from a store and then have to explain why I got banned from a store, So before they could go and look at the security footage, I made a beeline. I left the store, and I go shopping, elsewhere. So that's kind of the story. Yeah, I was afraid my face was going to be plastered all over the news. Somebody actually did, have that happen to them. They said that they were in Home Depot. And there's a YouTube clip about this out there. They were in Home Depot, and they come out of the bathroom, and somebody else was walking in. He's like, hey, be careful. I dropped a bomb in there or something like that. So that something of that nature. So they called in like the bomb squad to the bathroom at the Home Depot. Yeah, don't ever say it like that. You know, there's other terms you can use, I guess, but it made the news. I was like, man, this is gonna be me. I'm gonna make the news. It's gonna be like, you know, hazmat team called to local shopping center, you know, for a odor of gas or something like that. You know, I don't know. I was worried. I even worried about it after the fact. I was like, man, you know, they're gonna like go back and look at the cameras after I've left and send me like a letter in the mail saying, okay, you're banned from all of our chains nationwide or something, you know, to that effect. I'm like, oh. But I think that whole chain of stores, they went out of business, so I don't really have to worry now. And it's been years and years. I think there's like a statute of limitations for, you know, hurting a bathroom and then wanting to like press charges or, you know, ban you from their store or something like that. So there's got to be like a statute of limitations there somewhere. It's been a long time. Yeah, it was bad. So that's why I don't eat Indian food. Don't eat Indian food. And just no. Yep, that's the lesson. No more Indian food. It was bad. It was bad. I think the ladies were probably more. They might have been more embarrassed, maybe than I was, because they, you know, they kind of just went all their separate ways, and it's kind of like we literally bailed out of a some type of military transport, and they all went their own way, and you know, it was bad. Got a lot of cotton. Oh, I gotta move that thing. This is the one I used to cut the grass with. Put this over here. This is kind of how I looked running to the store. I just had an Indian food. This is kind of how I looked running. I guess maybe it was like a brisk jog. Yeah, I'll never forget the ladies, how they were walking. They were like power walking. You know, you ever see somebody power walk when they're out exercising or something like that? They were power walking. A lot of the videos that are only 30 minutes, if they're only 30 minutes, that's a video that I just recorded for YouTube. The stream videos, typically the stream videos are much longer. They're, in the past I have divided them up, so they're maybe just over 2 hours. Some of them are just under 2 hours, some of them are just over 2 hours. Usually when I go take my halfway break, that's when I'll stop the recording, so I kind of split up the streams and do like a slightly over 2 hour video or 2.5 hour video here, and then another 2.5 hour, and that'll be the second half. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed to YouTube, those videos you don't see here. So I'll do a lot of stuff in those videos that you won't see unless you actually go over and subscribe over there and watch those videos too. So you'll see some stuff. I'll buy new land. I'll buy new equipment. I'll get into trouble. You know, all kinds of stuff over there. So yeah, I'll tell exclusive stories. But yeah, if you want the whole grain, if you will, you gotta subscribe on YouTube and you gotta follow here on Twitch. Is that combine still going? Yep, combine's still rolling. I think my contract guy finished though. Yep, he's done. So we got that field weeded. Definitely gonna look at buying that field. It's not too expensive and it's kind of on the list. It's got a highway that separates it, but it's a decent sized field. 912 for that one. Is it fully fertilized? Oh yeah, it's already fully fertilized, and we just did a hoeing contract on it, so it's the guy that doesn't have any weeds in it, so it's ready to go. We can buy that thing as soon as we get some money. And we don't have any money. We I don't think we have any. I was gonna pay back some of that on a loan. Actually, you know what? Can we? Technically, we could maybe buy that right now. It's 900. What did I say? 900 something. Let me pay back a little on the loan here. Because it is in barley. Go down to 1.75. Whoop, there's a save. Yeah, we could back out what we need for that field. See, my streaming is still going, right? Yep, okay. Can't wait the construction to start on these fields. Doing forestry and raising animals, yep. It'll be a week from today. Well, I think the goal is to get to the point we're selling the beans, because when we sell the beans, we'll be able to buy this big whole plains area up here. And to buy that, you buy 128 right here, 129. Yeah, I think somebody said 128 a while ago. So 129 is actually going to be the first one. It's all of the plains area, like over here in the northwest. So basically, all of the what they quote unquote call the common ground. So let me actually go over to that. So basically, any common ground from this creek up over to right there. So it's kind of split between, we got the Pac-Man field there. So this common ground there, that's the northeast plains area. And then this part over here, that's the northwest plains area. The northwest is what we're aiming to buy. And to get that, we'd get a lot of stuff. We get a lot of the grass out there that's like on the sides of the fields, the roads, the railroad track. We'd get this little forest area north of that field that we're looking at. We get the forest area in between these two fields right there, so we could clear that out and plow, probably merge a lot of this together. Let's see, where else? We were going to merge a lot of these fields together. We'll probably leave that road right there. And then eventually, when we get these three fields, we can merge all of this together and make a nice big field. So yeah, big plans. We get the northeast one, we'll do the same thing, but there's a lot more trees over here on that one, on 128. So it's coming. We're gonna do it. Yeah, it's 4.4 million for that area up here on the northwest side, and then 4.8 million for the northeast side. That's getting off really cheap compared to the plains areas down south. So the southwest one is like 7.4 million, and then the southeast one is like 8.6 million. So that's why we're kind of holding off on anything down there in the south, down there in the southeast. Kind of holding off on that area down there because it's so expensive. Gonna take a minute, but we're gonna get to it. Think about like all the areas that we can't touch right now, like this little grass area right there. That's part of that property, part of that plot. We'll take this load down south. Yeah, off the road. see, where are we going with this one? Should be. Yep, we already got this one activated. Need to do another load of clover over here soon. And we're pretty much in the green on the red farm. Use more alfalfa and clover there. We'll get to that. Try to get this grass picked up. Several loads of it done. Been a week, man. You had Theo passed away from Cosby Show. You had Ozzy pass away. You had Hulk Hogan pass away. They actually, he had a like a memorabilia shop down in like Orlando, Florida, and some people that the people that ran the place, I guess they're not really members of the family, but they're close with the family. They came in and took some stuff out, like a lot of the exclusive like memorabilia, and they took it out and closed the store. So that store is actually closed right now. Yeah, we lost Chuck Mangione. I told the ladies at work, I was like, man, Chuck Mangione died too. They said, who? I was like, Chuck Mangione. And they just kind of stared at me. I'm like, oh man, yeah. I said, y'all don't know who Chuck Mangione is? And I said, well, y'all know King of the Hill, and there's a couple of them that, you know, like King of the Hill. And I was like, the guy that plays the horn for Megalomart, that's Chuck Mangione. And he actually came in and did some voice work in it. There's actually a whole episode that is like focused around Chuck Mangione, where Chuck Mangione is living in a Megalomart, and he's like built like a fort kind of out of like the toilet paper packages. And they hired Dale to come in because they think it's like a rodent problem, like a rat problem or something like that. So they bring Dale in, you know, the exterminator. They bring him in to eradicate the rodents or whatever. And Dale, he suspects it's Chuck Mangione, and then he ends up proving himself right. So, yeah, Chuck Mangione is living in a Megalomart. Chuck Mangione, yeah. A lot of people don't know the name, but if you've ever watched King of the Hill, a lot of the episodes, he was actually had voiceovers in, and they used a lot of his music. You know, how did the it's not a trumpet, it's a different kind of horn. Can't remember like the real name of the horn, what it's called. But he's got like this big horn, and he plays it. It's like, how does it go? Do 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 do. If you ever watched King of the Hill, you'll know what I'm humming there. Flugelhorn, yeah, that was what it was called. I never could remember the name of that. It looked like a giant trumpet to me. I think that's like when you search for Chuck Mangione music, I think that's like one of the first things that pops up is that song. I can't remember the name of it, but you play it and you listen to it and you're like, well, that's the song from King of the Hill. Oh yeah. Now, King of the Hill was the first time that I even knew who Chuck Mangione was. That's where that's where I first heard of Chuck Mangione. And you guys remember the King of the Hill episode where Buckley blew up the Megalomart because he didn't know how to move the propane tanks around, and he kept grabbing them by like the nozzle, so it created a propane leak. And a lot of people thought Hank did it because they kind of put Strickland out of business. But yeah, Buckley blew up the propane section of the Megalomart, and they actually had a Chuck Mangione concert out in the parking lot. Um, and that's where Hank and his friends, these older friends that had gone to work for Megalomart, had kazoos out in the parking lot, trying to interrupt the Chuck Mangione concert. Yeah, not a lot of people have heard of him. I mean, I think probably people more. Pretty sure anybody's probably heard of Kenny G. He's another horn guy. He what did he play? He played saxophone, didn't he? Kenny G stuff is I think he had some music in what was that movie, Cars, where Max falling asleep on the interstate, and it's the four hot rod cars that pull up there, and it's the one playing the music. He switches it from something upbeat to like a Kenny G song. It's like and then they put Mac to sleep. Yeah, I think that was Kenny G. Can't seem to find a good plan when starting new maps. Do you buy land over buying tractors and equipment? Hmm. I'll say this. Land and equipment kind of go hand in hand. You don't want to have land that's so big that it takes just utterly forever to work if you have small equipment. But then again, you don't want to have super big equipment and not have a ton of land, because you're not going to have enough, product to pay for all that big equipment. So like when you're starting out a map, it makes sense to start out with some of your smaller, older equipment, because you probably don't have a ton of land. That's kind of the whole thing with Farming Simulator is, there's no wrong way to play it, but because if you didn't, want to start out with land, you could, buy some huge equipment and maybe be fortunate enough to get some on sale or something. And then, just work the small amount of land that you have with the big equipment, and you get done quicker, get through the year faster, but you don't spend as much time in the field. I would say, I don't know, you could do it either way. You could buy, not like the biggest field out there, starting out, but you could, add a field here and there. And then when it gets to the point where it feels like it's like taking a long time to work the fields, with your planter and your with your harvester, with your, whatever you got going with that whole operation, then it might be time to upgrade your equipment. Or you could do it the other way around. You could upgrade your equipment, get done with the fields that you currently own quicker, and then add more land. So it's totally up to you. Yeah, it's pretty much 50-50. There's no wrong way to play Farming Simulator. Unless you buy like a bunch of like ridiculous stuff. Like, there is some ridiculous stuff in Farming Simulator that you could really waste a lot of money on. Dirt bikes, go-karts, a lot of these are mods. Race cars, Bigfoots. And then sometimes it's fun to do that kind of stuff too, but I remember in the past, back in 22, we bought the Ecto 1 car, the Ghostbuster car, and just drove it around all the time. I think that was on Frankenmuth 4X, if I remember right. And we bought that, and we bought the Ghostbusters headquarters. So we had the Ghostbuster headquarters in the Ghostbuster car. Back on the short-lived Red River Valley map that was also by DJ Modding, we bought the DeLorean from Back to the Future. And yeah, you could fly it around. That was a lot of fun. That's got to be one of my favorite movies. Both of them, Ghostbusters and Back to the Future. So it was kind of neat being able to drive those kinds of things around. Yeah, there's some the mods that they had out there, both back then, and there's actually a Ghostbuster house, headquarters, whatever you want to call it, out there now, but they aren't of really quality. I've always wanted to learn how to mod. If I ever decide to learn how to mod, I'll do them right. If you're gonna do something like that, then you need to do it right. You've gotta make it cool, So the Ghostbusters headquarters, you'd want to have the exteriors. You want to have the sign light up out front. You'd want to have the interiors. You'd want to have the fire poles to slide down. You'd want to have the stairs you could walk up. You'd want to have, the sleeping quarters up in the top, and then like a office kind of area in the middle maybe. You'd want to have the basement to where you had like the storage containment for the ghosts and stuff like that. And you'd want to have it, animated and lit up, and all of that stuff. Yeah, loved Back to the Future. Watched that a lot as a kid. Watched Ghostbusters a lot as a kid. Some don't remember they had animated shows for both of those series. They had Back to the Future, the animated series, and then they had the Ghostbusters. You know, the real Ghostbusters. I think a lot more people know about it now because you know Ghostbusters and stuff has kind of made a comeback. They're actually working on a new animated Ghostbusters series. It's not out yet. It's going to be coming to a streaming service, and I can't remember which streaming service it was. I want to say it might have been Netflix, but don't quote me on that. But they're working on a new animated Ghostbusters series. They had a lot of animated series. They had an animated Star Trek from the original series. They had an animated Teen Wolf. They had an animated Addams Family. They had an animated Beetlejuice. They had an animated Hulk Hogan series, like a wrestling thing. And I'm trying to remember all the ones that they had that were really based off movies. They had an animated Police Academy back in the day. They actually sold, I remember they actually sold like the toys from the animated Police Academy. So you had like your characters, you know, they were all animated characters. So you had like Tackleberry and Mahoney and all them. What do you think of the reboot of the Ghostbuster movies? I have only seen the one that came right after, let's see, that was Afterlife, I think it was called. I have not seen Frozen Empire. I've heard that Afterlife was better than Frozen Empire, but without actually watching it, I can't really, you know, give my opinion on it. I haven't seen it yet. I've got a ton of movies that I've got to watch that I haven't seen yet. I need to do that. I need to sit down and do that. Take, you know, an hour or two here or there. Sit down and watch these movies. I've got that Ghostbuster movie to watch. I've got the latest Indiana Jones movie to watch. The last movie in the Star Wars Skywalker saga to watch. Have not seen that one yet. I need to get caught up on my Scream movies. I think the last Scream movie that I watched might have been 4. And what are they working on now? Scream 7 or something like that, maybe? I did read an article where they said Neve Campbell was coming back. So, I don't know. I mean, those... You know, you get to a point where sequels are just like, you know, why even bother? You know, it's like the Fast and the Furious stuff. But I was happy to see it kind of reignites, you know, the people that love the originals, and then, you know, the people that have never seen the originals, and then they see the new ones, and they're like, well, let's go back and watch the originals, you know. So it kind of reignites like a fan base for a lot of the movies. Yeah, the one Ghostbuster headquarters that I've seen, this one you can't actually go in, the one for 25 that I found, and I'm trying to remember who put that out. I think it's just it's like a decoration, it's just the building. But it's not a very detailed. I mean, I honestly, I would have done it differently. Trying to remember who did that. Who did that? Well, let's see. You know what? Hang on. Squatch, I think, is the one who did it. Let me go in here and look to be sure. Pretty sure it was him. Or maybe it wasn't him. I'm not seeing it now. I gotta turn. I should be Googling and farming at the same time. I really thought it was Squatch though. Maybe it might not have been. Squiggles. I know it started with an S. An SQ. Squiggles did one. You can go to Squiggles itch.io and it's on there. And again, it's just like a decorative placeable. I don't think it's not a sell point. It's not a factory. So. Am I on call this weekend? I don't think so. No, I'm not on call this weekend. I was on call last weekend. No, I am not on call this weekend. And it rotates out, so. Oh, you're on console? Oh, I feel for you. Sorry. I used to be on console. I started Farming Simulator 15 on PS3 and then upgraded to PlayStation 4 and played Farming Simulator 15. That's PlayStation 4 is where I started recording for YouTube for Farming Simulator 15. And then switched to the Xbox somewhere along the line there and played about halfway through Farming Simulator 17 and then made the switch from the Xbox. I had an Xbox Series, what was it called? Xbox, it was an Xbox One S. So I switched to that and switched off of that to PC. And I had played a lot of FS15 on PC too. I had a laptop that I played it on. So when John would have maps and stuff like that, like the open server and stuff, I would play a lot on there on the laptop that I had. But then I got a dedicated desktop gaming PC, and that changed the whole ball game. And boom. I think I'll take this one down. Do I need to take this to the blue farm or the red farm? I think I need to go to the blue farm. Let me look. So there's the blue farm. There's the red farm. Yep, need to go to the blue farm with this load. So we got a little ways to go. Oh, looks like my combine stopped too. I need to move him. It's actually not too expensive to get into PC now. You can get a pretty good gaming rig. You can get a decent one for around, I'd say 500 to 750, somewhere in that price range. But you know, when you look at the cost of the consoles now, and then you look at the cost of, you know, having to pay for all the online stuff, because, you know, I think isn't that still like a subscription thing where if you're going to do any of the online stuff, you have to pay monthly for like Xbox and PlayStation. You don't have to do that with PC. You know, there's no subscription. I mean, you don't have to do that to have to utilize the online, you know, multiplayer, you know, and stuff like that. And I do all my stuff through Steam. Steam is excellent and keeps everything up to date automatically. You don't have to worry about that. And there's a ton of games on Steam. I've got all of my games through Steam. All the farming simulators are through Steam that I've got. Golf with Friends. Ghostbusters, the video game. So that's the kind of like the upgraded, enhanced version of the Ghostbusters game. I may play that on stream at some point, getting closer to Halloween. I've got the Grand Theft Autos. Actually, I've got the Grand Theft Auto, and then I've got the new enhanced Grand Theft Auto. And I've kind of wanted to go back and play that. So, $60 a year on Xbox. Yeah, see, we don't have that. You don't have to do that. If you go through Steam, you have access to a ton of games, and they're on sale all the time. I just bought several games. I think I got all the Grand Theft Autos for like, some of them were different prices. Some of them were like $7, and then some of them were like a bundle. I think there was a bundle. I think 3 of them were a bundle. So like Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, Grand Theft Auto, what was the other one? San Andreas. All the ones that came from PlayStation 2. I got them, I think, in a bundle, and I think they were like, how much were they? I'm trying to remember now. They were dirt cheap. When you divided it up, they were like $5 a piece. So, yeah, the new GTA, it's coming. My thing is like it's only coming to console first. So there's one advantage of having, I guess, the console, because you get access to the game first. But they did announce that it will not be 60 frames per second. I was kind of shocked at that. I guess the consoles just can't handle that much as far as like the processing power. But, you know, a year or two after, 3 years maybe, after releasing on console, it'll finally come to us PC guys. And we'll get it. Looks like a great game though. From what I've seen and heard about it, you know, you're gonna have the map, which is rumored, not confirmed, but rumored. The map is gonna be much bigger than the current Grand Theft Auto 5 map, which, you know, that one's based in San Andreas, that one's based in California. But you think about Florida, and you know, the map, from what I've seen and heard on, you know, the rumor mill, is going to be massive. Almost, if not more, than double the size of the GTA 5 map. It's going to have areas in it based off of real life Florida locations, and it's going to be so much better than the original Grand Theft Auto Vice City. You know, you're going to have, there's going to be an area like kind of based on like Orlando, so you're going to have a theme park. I think they called it Fairyland. It's going to be kind of like Disney-ish. You're going to have a Cape Canaveral. Now the names are not going to be the same, but it's going to be like kind of like the NASA, kind of like the Kennedy Space Center as it is, you know, right now. You're going to have a Miami area. You're going to have a Fort Lauderdale-ish type area. You're going to have the Keys, a whole big key area. And there's going to be some offshore areas. So I'm assuming they'll probably be like distant kind of areas, kind of like South American areas. So yeah, it's gonna be neat. But the map itself, yeah, it's gonna be huge. Gonna be huge. You think about, you know, all the stuff that they brought to Red Dead Redemption 2, you know. They brought alligators in there, you know, stuff like that. Florida's gonna have alligators in it, so there are alligators in the game. They did say that, like, you know how you go in Grand Theft Auto 5 right now and you can rob like a gas station or like a store or something like that. They said it's going to be a lot more difficult to rob a store now, so I guess they're trying to make it more realistic. I don't know. Sounds interesting. Yeah, there's going to be like a Tampa area. There's going to be all kinds of different stuff like that. Can't wait to see it. Not going to get a console to play it. But it would be nice to see it come out on PC sooner than later. But yeah, I definitely want to go take a look at the enhanced Grand Theft Auto 5. I remember when they did the upgrade from PlayStation 3 on Grand Theft Auto 5 to PlayStation 4, and it was the same way with the Xbox series of consoles. The detail, the level of detail, changed dramatically. They added first person, like when you were driving. A lot of extra detail. More detail in like the outer lying areas, so like your nature, the animals and stuff like that. A lot more water detail, underwater detail. So I can't wait to see how the enhanced version of Grand Theft Auto 5 looks. No, it's not coming to PC the same time as console. Unless that has changed recently, it's only coming to the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox, what is it, Series X now? And it's kind of one of those things where, okay, it's releasing next year, but the new consoles, so PlayStation 6 and Xbox, whatever the next Xbox name will be, those are not, I don't think those are releasing until 2027. So if you buy Grand Theft Auto 6 for PlayStation 5 and whatever the next Xbox, or, you know, Xbox Series X, then you'll have to probably buy the game again for the newer console. But yeah, it's not coming to PC. They did the same thing with 5 though. You know, it came out for console first, and then what? A couple years later, 3 years later, maybe something like that, they brought it to PC. Finish this row, and then I need to go back over to the combine and get it rolling. Got a lot to harvest there. Big field here. I need to go over to this field, to the Pac-Man field. Try to watch for the train. Ain't a good place to cross here, but NASCAR 25 comes to console October 14th. Later date for Steam to be determined. Maybe 5 to 6 months later. Yeah, I know it took a while for the others to come out to PC. You wouldn't think that would be the case. You would think that it would come to all platforms, PC, console, you know, and then they could, for the PC people, you know, they could have updates or obviously the higher up PC like version and add stuff to it later. Took the recommendation on the Dr. Pepper cream soda. I know, right? It's excellent. It's like a Dr. Pepper float, like a vanilla ice cream Dr. Pepper float, like liquid candy. Very, very good. Oh no! Speaking of Dr. Pepper, I'm out of Dr. Pepper. What am I ever going to do? Crack another one. Yeah, I liked it. I like the Dr. Pepper cream soda. I like the strawberry one. But again, the blackberry one, it's okay, I guess, for a change, but when I drink it, it tastes like Dimetapp to me. And I have flashbacks of being sick and drinking Dimetapp. So, I don't know, maybe keep some for when I'm sick, and then I'm going to be like, well, you know, I'll drink a blackberry Dr. Pepper, and, you know, it'd be like when I was sick when I was a kid. I'd, you know, stay home and drink the Dimetapp and watch Bob Barker on The Price is Right and eat saltine crackers and have some chicken noodle soup. So, but we don't have Bob Barker anymore. And no disrespect to Drew Carey, but he's just not Bob Barker. Kind of the same way with Wheel of Fortune. You know, Ryan Seacrest, yeah, no. Pat Sajak, 100% all the way. Yeah, you wouldn't think it would be that way, Sean. You'd think it would be the other way around. Because I think it's harder to release an update for console than it would be for PC. Plus, you know, there's a lot of enhancements on the PC version of any game. So, I don't know, maybe they need more time to work on those enhancements. Bob Barker and a PB&J. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, I would have usually if I was really sick, you know, and I couldn't keep anything down, I'd drink like 7 Up and or you know something like that, and then like the saltine crackers and some chicken noodle soup. Have some chicken noodle soup. Back then, you know, it was pretty much just Campbell's chicken noodle soup. We didn't even have the home style version of the chicken noodle soup. It was just plain old chicken noodle soup, you know. More sales on console, maybe? Yeah, maybe. Because you know, if you're a fan, and then there are some GTA fans out there, they will probably, if they don't already have the game on, if they don't already have the console, you know there's going to be some GTA fanboys out there to specifically buy a console just to get Grand Theft Auto 6. And I bet you, come May of next year, whatever consoles are out, I'm pretty sure the new consoles will not be out, but I bet you they will have some console bundles, both on the PlayStation side and on the Xbox side. It's coming. You know they're gonna bundle that, and you know it's gonna be hard to find. People are gonna wait in line for them. They wanna like, what's the word? They want the publicity, I guess, maybe for the game. Like, look, these people are going mad, you know, for our game. You know, it's like the hot ticket item. You gotta go buy one right now. You know, you gotta get it. You know, you gotta go wait in line. You gotta go camp out. You gotta go, you know, set your tent up in front of Best Buy and wait for the game to launch. You know, and you know, break down the door. You know. The game is that great that you have to break down the door and trample everybody, you know, and yeah, it's no. It shouldn't be that way. Nowadays it should be like, okay, your server crashed because people were downloading, you know, rushing to download the game. As it should be. And when the server's down, you know, and everybody's waiting in the queue to download the game, or they're waiting for it to download, they can break out a board game and play some Jenga. Or, you know, play a board game that doesn't require 2 people. Are there any board games that don't require 2 people? Maybe Mousetrap? I don't know. Oh, you might as well just go ahead and get it this fall, Sean. You know you want that NASCAR game. Get the NASCAR game, and then you'll be ready for the GTA 6 game when it comes out in May. You know, nationwide, or maybe even worldwide, you're gonna see what date is GTA 6 coming out? Is it May 26th? Is that the right date? Hey Siri, when does GTA 6 release?
Okay, I found this on the web for when does GTA 6 release. Check it out.
Yeah, May 26th. So, nationwide, worldwide maybe, you're going to see a lot of guys, and a few girls, but probably majority guys. You're going to see a lot of them disappear. Like, they are going to disappear from public. The summer of 26 will be known as the summer of GTA 6. Okay? Somebody needs to put that on a t-shirt. Great t-shirt idea, by the way. The summer of 26 is the summer of GTA 6, or something to that effect. So, yeah, a lot of guys are going to be, you know, not out in public after May 26th. The whole summer and in the months to follow, you know, that you're going to see a worldwide disappearance of guys because they're going to be in the basement, or, you know, their mom's basement, or, you know, whatever they got going on. I might even be in my studio if it comes out on PC. I really don't think I'm gonna buy a console unless, no, I'm not. I'm really not. I'm not gonna do that because I'm not part of that ecosystem. I'm in the PC ecosystem now. All my games are with Steam. That's the direction that I've gone with all the games that I've got, so that's what I'm going to do. Plus, they're coming out with another Golf with Friends. They're coming out with Golf with Friends 2 at some point. Can't leave now. Phil and Left and Trent and I, you know, we gotta play that new game, that new golf game. Working from home productivity will plummet that summer. Yeah, you're probably right. I'm gonna say it's gonna affect everything. You know, there'll be a little boost to the economy there because, you know, all the guys will probably, you know, they'll be like, you know, buying like the game, and, you know, and strategy guides, you know, stuff like that, you know. But yeah. Now, fast food deliveries, pizza deliveries, they'll see a boost. Because I have a feeling, you know, like Grubhub, you know, and DoorDash, you know, and all them, there will probably be a lot of food deliveries that summer. The summer of 26. Yeah, and you know, the new consoles, they'll be coming out not next year, but I think what I've seen is 2027. And they could even come out fourth quarter of 2026. You know, just in time for that Christmas rush. So the new consoles, you got PlayStation 6, and then whatever the Xbox is going to be named. You want to watch a DVD? Yeah. Man, I can't tell you the last time I watched a DVD. Even that, you know, I've got the all the streaming stuff, and I've got the Apple TV. They're supposed to be releasing a new Apple TV, I guess maybe this fall. But I've still got the standard HD Apple TV. It does me well. My TVs are not 4K or anything, so I don't really need the 4K box. But all my stuff that I watch, YouTube TV, Hulu, Disney Plus, all the stuff on the Apple TV that I've got, all my movies, TV shows, all that stuff is done through that box. So I can't tell you the last time I put a DVD in something and watched it. It's been a long time. Yeah, they actually just recently added what was it, the Steam app or something to Xbox. They just did that, Sean, actually. Apple TV, it's not actually a TV, it's the box. It's a box that you plug into like your HDMI port, and all your content can go through the Apple TV. So if you've purchased any movies from iTunes or back when you did that, now it's all done through the Apple TV app. If you've purchased any movies or TV shows, you can watch all those. If you've got any streaming stuff, so if you have like Netflix or Hulu or Disney Plus or any of the YouTube stuff, I've got YouTube TV, so I watch any of my TV service channels, like Fox News, Weather Channel, etc., etc. All of that is done through this Apple TV box that I've got. If I ever upgrade my actual TVs to I don't think I'm gonna upgrade to 4K. They're actually a lot cheaper than I thought they would be, especially with all the tariff situation going on. But if I ever upgrade my TVs, they have 8K TVs now, and whatever's next after that, after the 8K part, I'd say that'd probably be the direction I would go. But these are still working. I'll probably use these until these go kaput. These are in HD. They're 1080p HD TVs. They are kind of obsolete now, but they work. And they may last a while because both of them are Samsung TVs. So holy capacity. You've lost me, Scoot. Holy capacity. What were we talking about that had capacity? Was it about the Steam and Xbox thing? Oh, the Combine. Oh, you're actually talking about the in-game thing. We've been sitting here talking about everything else. Yeah, this is a Stevie Combine SRG. This is, we've got a lot of the Stevie stuff. Stevie FS Mods on YouTube. That's where you can find videos with all of these pieces of equipment that we're using. And you can find the Google Drive links to the packs that contain these contain a lot of this equipment. Each video kind of showcases what's in the pack. So yeah, a lot of the later packs again have updates to some mods that he released in some of the earlier mod packs. So you might want to keep that in mind. I would kind of hope that once he gets to some point, he would take all of the updated, you know, more final-ish versions of his mods and put them in one video that has one Google Drive or download pack. That'd make it easier for people that are, you know, just now getting his stuff for the first time. What I did was I went back and went to Mod Pack 1, downloaded Mod Pack 1, downloaded Mod Pack 2, downloaded Mod Pack 3, and then as I downloaded the new mod packs, if there was an update to any of the mods that had already been released, when I moved that file over, it automatically, you know, replace the file that already exists, and you click yes. So basically, everything that I've got is updated, and I think he's up to Mod Pack 19 now. Or he's working on Mod Pack. He's either working on Mod Pack 19 or it's already out. Yeah, he makes great stuff. And the big news, and I haven't talked about it today yet, you know, Stevie made the announcement either just before or after Farming Simulator 25 came out that he would no longer be making any 4X maps. He did release his version of Riverbend Springs. He is currently working on a 4X version of Riverbend Springs. So, you know we got to check that out. 4X Stevie map? Yes, sir. Gotta check that out. Love the 4X Elm Creek when Stevie released it. Gotta check that out, man. That's gonna be awesome. I have a feeling it's gonna probably come out either slightly before or slightly after the update. What do you call it? The base game update with the expansion pack. Yeah, that one. Where we'll be able to fish. That'd be really cool. Take out a little boat out in the Riverbend River. And you know, if it's gonna be 4X, you know it's gonna be, you know, Judith Plain size. So it'd be great to have a Stevie map and go fishing on. Even the new map, you know, the Scotland Highlands, that's gonna be, I think, pretty impressive. I'm looking forward to that one. As far as like the base game maps go, that to me it looks really good. You got a lot of stuff in there. You're getting, you know, fish, so you'll be able to take a boat out. Literally, you can take a boat out and go fishing. You can grab a fishing pole and go fishing on the banks of the water. You can have like a fish hatchery, so it's like a fish farm where you have like tanks and stuff, so you can do fish that away if you want to. They're bringing onions, field onions, into the game. They're bringing new equipment. They're bringing the new map, so you're getting the new Scotland map. Just fisheries. No, I think you'll be able to fish. I think that's one thing that they said in their video. That you'll be able to fish from the bank. Yep, unless they change that, unless they took a step back. I need to go get the green cart. There it is. Oh, I need to empty said green cart. actually, let me take this over there. Gotta go, I think I gotta go empty the truck. I think the truck that I left over there is full. Gotta grab the other truck, I guess. It's, you know what, it's right there. It's already over there. It's back biogas. I'll just grab that other truck. We're not gonna be selling silage anytime soon, I don't think. No, we don't. We don't really have a ton of silage right now. I do have everything processing though. Need to put some more clover in the blue farm. We're gonna have a lot of soybean straw to sell. We'll wait till the price gets up there and try to make the most of it, but we've got a ton of soybean straw on the ground everywhere. Everywhere there was a soybean field, we've got soybean straw. So all of this straw up here is going to go to either the farmer's market or the animal dealer. And if we have possible the other big field that we have over there, we might take some of that, and some of the fields down south, we might take some of that down to the Montana Hay Company because it's closer down there. Yeah, you got to think about it. Yeah, but let me go grab the truck. Just go straight to it. It's quicker just to go straight to it. If I can find it. Where did I leave that at? That it? There it is. Breaker 1-9, breaking one down. This is the Red Patriot. I don't know. Sounds good. This is the real American. I am a real American. Shout out to Hulk Hogan. R.I.P. Fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American. Fight for what's right. Fight for your life. Only the real ones know. Oh, there's a save. Oh, man. Even worse when you're running down the field. Tell you what, let me go empty this and then I'll catch him coming back. This is pretty full. Almost. It's getting there. America. Doesn't get any more America than that right there. Patriotic red Max Superliner, John Deere 9R, Stevie-fied grain cart behind it. So yeah, the soybean straw price, 120-ish, 130-ish. We'll wait for it to get up to that. I know the peak price is probably not going to be factual. Let's go to that. Let's see, where is that at? That's right down here, isn't it? There it is. Yeah, that's not accurate. definitely more in late December or January, if I remember right. But it will be more. I think closer to 130. We'll kind of hold out for 125 plus. That's what we'll kind of wait for. And these areas up here, the farmer's market, the animal dealer where we take this stuff, it will get there. Morning, Tomcat. How's it going? Sad to think about. You know, we'll never hear that real American pop on the WWF anymore. WWE, sorry. I still refer to it as WWF. We won't hear that pop anymore. So no more entrances from Hulk Hogan. We'll just have to go back and watch the clips. Prices, it depends on what it is. Soybean prices definitely fluctuate. That's why we wait till June, late June, to sell soybeans. When you go look at soybeans themselves, so you can see there, this is accurate. So you want to wait till mid to late June. Really, I think it's more like the third. We've got 3-day months on. So our third day of June is usually the best price at some point there. But you can see the current prices, the lowest price, which is actually in January, it's just not worth selling them. It's better to wait for that to come around. Now, stuff like silage, not a big fluctuation there. Typically, your highest price, the highest lowest price that I saw it get down to was like 210, and then the highest price I've seen silage get to is 227. So not a big difference there. And you know, the average price for silage, I wonder what it is right now. Probably like 219. The average price, you know, it bounces back and forth between like 217 to 220, 225. There it is. So yeah, right now it's 222. It's actually not a bad time to sell silage if we had a full load. Might look at that in the next day. But yeah, it kind of bounces around 218, 219, 222. So just $1 or $2 difference here and there. Oh no, he's going. I gotta go. Yeah, Hulk Hogan, he was. I remember back in the 80s, and you know, he switched over to WCW there after the early 90s. But back then, back in the 80s and early 90s, he actually went and did a lot of TV show, movie stuff. There's what was that movie? Something Suburbia or something like that. And then he was actually on Baywatch. The ladies from Baywatch rescued him out of the ocean or something, and he woke up and he said, "Oh, I didn't realize I went to heaven." And yeah, I was like, "Yeah, buddy, I would love to wake up to the lifeguards on Baywatch too." Yeah, so. But yeah, he was in a lot of stuff. He was in there was a Christmas movie he was in, a lot of stuff like that. Yeah, wasn't he in WrestleMania 1? I'm pretty sure he was in WrestleMania 1. He was in one with Andre the Giant, and I can't remember if that was 1 or 3 or 2. I can't remember the numbers. But he wrestled Andre the Giant. Him and Macho Man Randy Savage, were kind of pretty much on the same level. Well, there's reasons kind of behind that. I think he made some statements that either were misconstrued or something. But yeah, there was reasons behind that, and maybe they weren't misconstrued. Maybe they were actually statements that he actually, yeah. So yeah, I don't know, but regardless of what has happened recently, when you look at his career as a whole and who he was, what he had done in his career, and it all works out kind of in the end. One thing I'll say is, like, doesn't matter what you've done if you have to, make the right decisions before your time's up here. So if you believe in Jesus and give your life to Jesus and stuff, and you follow him, and stuff, and that's the only way. And from what I've seen, he and his wife did so. They did that. I think it was just maybe a year or a few months before he passed. Him and his wife both were baptized. So that's good to know. Good to know that they did that. And let me go empty this truck. I think the combine is fine. Why didn't people like him? Yeah, I don't know, something that I don't even know the whole full details about it. Something that he said, and I don't know, it might have been something that was misconstrued, or sometimes people take stuff and run with it, and sometimes people make mistakes. Sometimes they say stuff that it actually comes out the way it sounds, and then they realize that it was a mistake. People do make mistakes. But it goes back to the old saying in the Bible, and people do ask for forgiveness for stuff that they've done, but in the Bible it says, let He who is without sin cast the first stone. Doesn't give you like a license to just go keep doing the wrong stuff, like sinning and stuff. But you have to forgive. It says so in the Bible. So how much are we up to now? Soybeans, 960,000. And I know I've got another truck to go get and empty, and then we've got some in the grain cart too. I never understand this crossing right here. It's very, very inaccessible. But I think when we get the this plains land, this will be the northeast plains land, we can put in our own crossing. Kind of up front there. Alright, let me go grab the other truck. Probably need to get it over here somewhere. We've got another field to harvest there, and then another one there. I think we've got everything up north. Yep. So this is corn over here. And we got everything right in here. We got to finish that right there. And then I've got beans there, and beans there. And then we'll have to go over to the big field, or save that one for last. We do have some beans down here to get, so. Oh, here comes the train. Or there goes the train. Nope, here comes the train. Oh, whoa! Oh look, some of the containers are open. Huh. That wasn't me. I don't think I've ever used the train. Not yet, anyway. Alright, let me grab... This is empty now. Oh, I did not mean to jump back in that. I want in my tractor. Just go ahead and shut that off there for now. Combine should be okay. It should be about done. Go ahead and move him down to the next field. On to the next one. Getting lower on my Dr. Pepper. Have to take my first break. Real soon. Huh, I remember this episode, King of the Hill. When Hank found out he had diminished glute syndrome. Oh boy. Morning, Jacob. How's it going? Who's checked out the new mod in Discord? What is the new mod in Discord? Something we've all been looking for. Just went ahead and converted it. You've got me intrigued now. I've got to go look. Is it under the mod section? I'm assuming it is. The one you posted, or hang on, I gotta get over to my field here. In the mod section. Okay, I know where to go now. The forage head? Ooh, you've got me interested. Is it the 15-meter Kinsey? I've been in the market for that. So yeah, when we buy this plains area up here, this little wooded area here, it's gone. And if we buy this field, when we clear that out, we can expand this field into that wooded area. It's coming. Alright, let me go look at that now. Mods. Farming simulator. Gotta find it. Oh yeah. There it is. Yeah. So that's a convert to 25. I'll have to download that. Did that go through? I don't know. Okay, yep, I will definitely look at that as soon as the stream is over. tiny field. You know we're going to be plowing this together with that one. We're going to be merging these together. And all these together. So this will be all one big field. It'll come up. We're not going to plow the highway up, but this field will curve around this way together with this one. And then this one go with that one and that one and this one and that one and this one. So it's going to be good. I can see putting these two together. And I think there's, I don't know if there's a train track there or a ditch there. We could merge those two together maybe at some point. No, we haven't bought the common land yet. That's coming next weekend. That's the kind of the date we've set to do that. Alright, so it's pretty much harvest day here. We've got the combine rolling, and we've got a ton of beans to harvest. So, YouTube, you guys, I think we'll say goodbye to you for this episode. So crazy you were asking about this. The first episode, this episode, first half of it will be just over 2:30. So the second half will be somewhere in that neighborhood, depending on what time John gets here, I guess. But yeah, you guys over on YouTube land, always remember you reap what you sow. Matt from the Green Arcade. We'll see y'all in the next one.